64. The Blame Game, Jackie's POV. While the company was experiencing one of its most successful phases, I was living through the most heart-wrenching failure of my life. For the first time ever, I feel unsuccessful. I was hopeful, yet unsure. Thoughtful, yet confused. Despite being in such an emotionally vulnerable state, I had to maintain my presence in all conferences and meetings. I had to carry on as if nothing was wrong. After work, employees from different departments decided to have a late-night celebration in the office, and I was invited as well. Snacks, pizza, and drinks were ordered. Everyone was celebrating happily. Cheers! And me? I just stood there, silent, in the middle of the hall, my eyes fixed on Lavanya. She hadn't looked at me once. Not even for a second. It was agonizing. Why can't you even look at me? The sound of people chatting pulled me from my thoughts. I heard the staff discussing playing games in groups. Some employees left early. Some stayed back. Balram, Ruhi, Lavanya, that bloody jackass. All still there. None of us seemed particularly interested in playing games. Hey, come on guys, take your places, make a circle. We're starting Truth or Dare. One of the employees announced excitedly. A few people urged me to join. I noticed Lavanya hesitating, but eventually she agreed to take a seat. Ruhi sat on her right. And that bastard took his place on her left. Of course he doesn't miss a fucking chance to stick to her skin. My fists clenched. For a split second I almost turned to leave. But Balram caught my eye, silently gesturing not to walk away with his weird expressions. I took a deep breath. After a brief pause, I forced myself to stay. They guided me to a seat in the circle, but I didn't feel good about it. Because even now, she refused to look at me. And the sight of them sitting so close to each other, right in front of me, was unbearable.
Lavanya's POV. As Rui and I made our way downstairs, we heard people talking about a success party for our latest product ad. It's party time, the guys from the canteen cheered. Ruhi sighed. Looks like we're staying late tonight. I shook my head. I'm going home. I can't be here anymore. Rui studied me for a moment before nodding. I understand. I won't force you this time. You need rest. I blinked in surprise. No teasing, no persuasion, just understanding. She let out a deep breath. Let's go. I nodded, relieved. But just as we turned towards my cabin, a group of colleagues stopped us. Before we could protest, they dragged us toward the party hall. I tried everything to get out of it. Please let me go, I pleaded. But they weren't in the mood to hear anything except the word party. I was the model in the ad. I was practically forced to stay. As soon as we entered the hall, I saw people gathered in small groups, standing, sitting, chatting. I turned on my heel, ready to leave. But Ruhi stopped me with a firm grip on my wrist. Her brows furrowed. Her eyes were locked onto something or someone in particular. I followed her gaze. There, standing in the middle of the hall, was Mr. Dawson. He was responding to his employees' congratulations with a forced smile. I quickly looked away. My eyes landed on another group of people where Virat Sir stood. The complete opposite of Mr. Dawson. He was beaming, absolutely happy. As if this success belonged only to him. Everyone was congratulating him for his hard work and dedication. I even overheard some people wishing him for the upcoming engagement ceremony. Of course, the whole office knows now. I clutched the edge of my dupatta, my fingers tightening around the fabric. A few minutes later, we were all sitting on the floor, ready to play Truth or Dare. Or at least, Ruhi was ready. I had no choice in the matter. She left me no escape, and I couldn't just walk out when Virat Sir was watching me with an expression that demanded my presence beside him. These gazes scare me. Since I was doing everything I could to avoid Mr. Dawson's piercing eyes and Virat sir's expectant stares, I kept my head down, refusing to look up.
Author's POV. Everyone settled on the floor, forming a circle. Jackie sat directly opposite Lavanya, while Balram was beside him. More than 20 people had joined in, including Jackie, Balram, Ruhi, Lavanya, Virat, and his friends. The beer bottle was spun, and the game began. Jackie and Lavanya, however, seemed utterly disinterested. Both had far too much on their minds. She was desperately trying to avoid his gaze, yet every now and then she couldn't stop herself from stealing a glance at him. The game carried on smoothly. Some players shared shocking truths, while others performed bold dares. The atmosphere was light-hearted. Then Balram's turn came. Virat, sitting opposite him, smirked. "So, Balram sir, truth or dare?" Balram chuckled nervously. "Oh gee, filhal to truth hai mainu saf lagda hai." Laughter erupted around the circle. "All right." Virat grinned, exchanging looks with his friends. "Tell us, have you ever hit someone in your life? If yes, then who?" Balram scratched his chin, rolling his eyes upward as he thought. Hanji, pita tohai, ek bandenu." A voice from the group perked up. "Who?" Balram smirked slightly. "Japad mara hai mane ek pocket mar nu." The moment the words left his mouth, the entire group burst into laughter. Jackie, however, frowned in confusion. He turned to his assistant, expecting a translation. "What?" Balram, still grinning, glanced at him. "Oh, I said I have slapped many times to a pocket mar." Jackie's frown deepened. "Pocket what?" "Pocket mar," Balram repeated, then gestured enthusiastically. "Meaning, a wallet snatcher, a pickpocket." Jackie's expression remained skeptical. "Balram? Hitting someone? It is hard to believe." He stared at his Punjabi assistant for a long moment, as if trying to decide whether or not to take him seriously. Then it was Lavanya's turn. Since Jackie was sitting opposite her, he got the chance to ask. His smirk widened. Truth or dare? He was hoping, practically praying, that she would choose dare. If she did, he would make sure she did something he wanted. Virat, on the other hand, wasn't at all pleased with the situation. Balram, praying for peace. Ruhi? She had no idea what was coming, just that she felt extremely panicked. Jackie, however, was sure of one thing. "I know you don't have the guts to speak any truth right now, Miss Lavanya. You'll pick dare. But then, truth." Jackie's smirk vanished. The room went silent. For a few seconds, there wasn't a single sound. Jackie clenched his jaw, nodding his head slowly. "All right then." His next words sent chill down Lavanya's spine. "Have you ever cheated on someone for someone else? If yes, then how, why, and to whom?" His sharp gaze flickered to Virat, making his intentions all too clear. Lavanya's breath hitched. She froze. Her worst fear had come true. Everyone's eyes were on her. She couldn't speak. The tension in the room was suffocating. Ruhi leaned in and whispered into Lavanya's ear. "Just tell him the truth and say no." "But," Lavanya hesitated. Deep down, she wasn't sure. Jackie had already accused her of cheating him, and a part of her felt guilty, like she had betrayed him in some way. "Do as I say," Ruhi ordered in a firm tone. Lavanya swallowed hard. No," she answered nervously, her eyes darting around the hall. Jackie's expression darkened. "Really?" He narrowed his eyes at her. "Are you sure about that, Miss Lavanya? You've never cheated anyone in your life?" His voice was laced with challenge. "Not even once?" Lavanya shook her head. Jackie let out a cold chuckle. "Are you telling the truth, Miss Lavanya?" Or have you conveniently forgotten the rules of this game? His gaze flicked to the beer bottle lying on the floor. The room felt heavier. The playful atmosphere had vanished. Everyone was listening. Everyone was watching. Lavanya hated this. The way he was publicly cornering her, turning the game into a battle of wills, was nothing short of humiliating. The room was silent. Too silent. Jackie leaned in slightly. "Come on, Miss Lavanya. Speak up." No one dared to interrupt. No one even breathed. It was clear to everyone in the hall that their boss was ruling this game now. Virat clenched his fists, his jaw tightening in silent rage. Ruhi leaned in again, whispering, "Tell this bastard that you never promised anyone anything, so there's no question of cheating." Lavanya hesitated, glancing at her friend for confirmation. Ruhi gave her a firm look, one that urged her to go ahead. Taking a deep breath, Lavanya finally spoke. "I have never promised anyone anything, so there is no question of cheating." The entire room stilled. Jackie's smirk faded. He wasn't expecting that. Her answer had amused him, but more than that, it had shaken him. Because technically she wasn't wrong. For a few seconds, he had nothing to say. And that was all it took for the crowd to erupt into applause. The employees clapped at Lavanya's clever response, while Ruhi and Virat exchanged satisfied smirks. Jackie blinked and looked away. But before anyone could recover from the tension, one of Virat's friends suddenly spoke up. "By the way, before we continue, let's all take a moment to congratulate Virat sir and Lavanya ma'am on their upcoming engagement this week." Jackie stiffened. Lavanya did too. Because she knew exactly how much it hurt Jackie every time he heard those words. The others, however, clapped happily, cheering for the so-called happy couple. Balram threw a sympathetic glance at both Jackie and Lavanya. Virat blushed, flashing a pleased smile. Ruhi, on the other hand, looked far from delighted. The game resumed, but the air wasn't the same anymore. A few minutes later, it was Ruhi's turn. She was asked to choose between truth or dare. Without hesitation, she picked dare. And her task? Slap someone in the game who holds a higher authority than you in the company. The room buzzed with excitement. Everyone waited in anticipation, curious to see who she would choose. Ruhi, however, didn't react immediately. She stood still for a moment, taking a deep breath before stepping forward. The energy in the room shifted. People exchanged glances. Who would she dare slap? One thing was certain. If anyone could do it without hesitation, and it was Ruhi. Eyes followed her as she moved. Some employees whispered amongst themselves, trying to guess her target. Then, she stopped. In front of someone no one in their wildest dreams would have imagined. And before anyone could react, smack! A collective gasp filled the room. No one moved. No one spoke. Because sitting there, eyes widened in shock, was Jackie Dawson himself. And Ruhi had just slapped him. Lavanya's mouth fell open in shock, and even Virat couldn't hide his astonishment. People could hardly believe their own eyes. They kept blinking and rubbing them as if trying to confirm what they had just witnessed. Balram's gaze shifted repeatedly between Ruhi and Jackie, struggling to process the scene before him. Jackie's left cheek was red, bearing a clear imprint of the slap. What the fuck? Is this woman out of her damn mind? Jackie was furious. He turned to face the guy who had dared Ruhi to do this. Rage boiled in his veins. "I will kill you, you pathetic creature." The guy swallowed hard and lowered his head, fully aware that he would soon be in need of a new job. Slowly, Jackie turned back to Ruhi, his glare burning with the same indignation. "What the—" he started to growl, but Ruhi cut him off with a whisper, ensuring no one else could hear. "I've wanted to do this for a very long time," she said. Jackie opened his mouth to shout, but before he could, Ruhi gave a firm nod and added, "And you know very well that you deserved it." That look on her face told Jackie exactly what she meant. This woman, crazy BFF, He somehow restrained himself from reacting further, aware that all eyes were on him. Some people had even covered their open mouths with their hands, too stunned to speak. After what had just happened to the company's boss and owner, no one had the courage to continue the game. That slap had provided the perfect ending, complete with a dramatic sound effect. Jackie got up abruptly and stormed off towards his office. Balram turned to Ruhi, stunned. "I, Tusi Kikita? Sir Nu Chapad Mardi? Our time will come too." "Well, didn't you say that yourself?" she retorted, her expression defiant. Balram had no response to that. Shaking his head in disapproval, he followed his boss. Ruhi was bombarded with questions from colleagues throughout the building, but she didn't care. She had only one thing on her mind: avenging her BFF. As soon as the crowd dispersed, Lavanya rushed towards her. "Why did you do that?" she demanded. "You know exactly why," Ruhi shot back. "That asshole has no common sense at all. Haven't you seen how he's been tormenting you from day one? And now, after everything he did to you, instead of apologizing, he tried to humiliate and insult you in front of the entire D. Dawson crowd. Is that how you treat someone you claim to love?" Her words struck a chord in Lavanya's heart, yet she still couldn't approve of what Ruhi had done. "I know you're looking out for me, but this wasn't the right way to support me. What you did was completely wrong. You shouldn't have done that," Lavanya insisted. "Raising your hand against someone isn't right, nor is it a solution, Ruhi." "Why not?" A deep male voice interrupted them from behind. Ruhi looked up, and Lavanya turned to see who it was. It was her fiancé-to-be, Virat Oberoi, approaching them with a casual stride. "Why can't she slap him? And why shouldn't he be slapped?" Virat asked, his tone light as if it wasn't a big deal. She was simply completing her task according to the game's rules. As he reached them, he chuckled. Coincidentally, she chose the right person to slap, unlike the others. He smirked and leaned in slightly, adding in a whisper, "Great play, Ruhi." "Thank you, sir." Ruhi smiled while Lavanya remained silent, watching them. She couldn't quite understand how or when Virat had changed so much. Just 3 or 4 months ago, he had been terrified of his boss, but now he seemed like an overconfident, arrogant man. "Sir, I understand that what happened inside the hall was wrong." Balram spoke cautiously while Jackie stood behind his desk, breathing like a raging dragon, both palms pressed against the surface. Jackie turned around abruptly, cutting him off. "Wrong? That wasn't just wrong. She committed a sin, and she will pay for it. How dare she?" His voice was thick with fury. "And did you hear what she said afterward? That I deserved that slap. That's exactly what she said. I'm going to fire her. She'll regret this. She has no idea who she's messing with. She picked the wrong person to cross." His jaw clenched as his mind raced with revenge. "Sir, I understand, but please, calm down," Balram urged, trying his best to soothe his boss. "How?" Jackie snapped, then shook his head with a look of hopeless frustration. "I don't even know what's happening in my life anymore. Everything is changing in ways I never expected." He walked over to the couch and perched on the armrest, lowering his head in deep thought. "For the first time in years, I feel lost. I feel lonely. Empty." He paused, inhaling deeply. "I wanted something so badly and I can't seem to get it. I don't want to be a loser. I've never lost no matter what. But this time, I feel helpless. Like I'm starving and the food is right in front of me, but my mouth is taped shut and my hands are tied." He was pouring out his deepest thoughts to a man he never imagined confiding in. Balram had no solution for Jackie's turmoil, but he could at least offer quiet companionship. And in this moment, Jackie needed that more than anything. "Mr. Dawson, go home, sir. You need rest. We'll talk about this tomorrow," Balram advised, placing a reassuring hand on Jackie's shoulder. Jackie had no other choice. His mind was too clouded to think clearly. He nodded, stood up, and grabbed his keys, phone, and jacket before silently leaving his office. Without glancing at anyone, he walked past his employees and made his way to the elevator. Once inside, a hollow feeling settled in his chest. My life is just like this elevator. One moment it's full and the next, completely empty. He didn't bother looking around as he descended the stairs of the D. Dawson building. When he reached the parking lot and was about to enter his car, he noticed Lavanya standing a few yards away. She looked nervous. He wanted to offer her a ride home, but he had no idea how to approach her. Suddenly, there was an awkward tension between them, one they both could feel. The moment Lavanya's eyes met Jackie's, she stiffened. They stood frozen, staring at each other. Jackie had countless questions running through his mind, but she had no answers for any of them. Just as he finally decided to speak, flashing headlights approached from a distance. A car pulled up between them, and the man who always stood between them stepped out. Oberoi. Jackie clenched his jaw. He had had enough of Virat and Lavanya for the day. Without another glance, he turned and walked back to his car, only a few steps away. Lavanya silently slipped into the passenger seat of Virat's car. Virat, on the other hand, was thrilled. After all these weeks, he was finally the one driving her home. He didn't care about the growing rivalry between him and Jackie. As the car pulled away, Lavanya turned her head slightly, stealing a glance at Jackie from the corner of her eye. The moment he caught her looking at him, he quickly turned his face away, avoiding her gaze. He was hurt. Too hurt to look at the woman he had once believed to have a heart. Resting his arms on the top of his car, he stared straight ahead at the main gate. Virat's car disappeared into the distance, and Jackie was left watching, just as he had before. History repeated itself. Once again, he saw Virat driving Lavanya home, and once again, she didn't care about him. The pain was unbearable. Instead of driving home, he kicked his car in frustration and started walking down the road, his jacket slung over his shoulder. He had no idea where to go. He just knew he didn't want to see Lavanya with Virat, nor did he want to go home and face his own reflection, the reflection of a loser. He walked and walked through the crowded streets, yet he felt utterly alone. Eventually, he spotted a beer bar and stepped inside. For nearly 3 hours, he sat there, drowning himself in alcohol and the deafening beat of the music. "Excuse me, sir?" A waiter, who had been serving Jackie all evening, approached his table hesitantly. Jackie sluggishly lifted his gaze. Yes? He slurred, hiccuping. "Sir, it's almost 11, and we're closing," the waiter informed him politely. "Okay, good night," Jackie mumbled in a drunken tone, resting his head sideways on the table and closing his eyes. "Oh, no, sir. You can't sleep here. It's closing time," the waiter said, attempting to pull him upright by his shoulders. "It's okay, buddy. Come sit with me. Come on," Jackie insisted, waving at the empty seat in front of him. "But, sir..." The waiter hesitated, glancing at the manager, who was waiting impatiently for him to get Jackie out so he could close up for the night. Come, have a seat. Mr. Jackie squinted, trying to recall the waiter's name. I forgot your name, by the way." The waiter sat down reluctantly. "I haven't told you my name yet, sir," he replied honestly. "Oh, I thought I was already losing my memory." Jackie chuckled to himself, half closing his eyes. "But I have a sharp memory, you know. I'm a businessman with money, power, position. But you know, dear, what was your name again?" He pouted, thinking harder. The waiter sighed. "Vishwa Reddy, sir." Yeah. I was just about to remember. It was on my tongue, but it wouldn't reach my lips," Jackie said with a tipsy grin. "Anyway, Mr. Vishwa, yeah. I was saying that, I have everything, you know? Health, wealth, power, position, friends, respect, thousands of employees, but..." His voice trailed off, and for a moment he looked lost. "But I don't have a family," he murmured, his drunken state revealing emotions he would never admit sober. "I miss my dad, and I can't have my mom live with me, and the only woman I ever wanted to be with forever. She didn't care about what I feel. She ditched me for that bloody, smiley-headed bastard. She knows. She knows that she's the only one who had the potential to be my family, but still, bro, she left me, just like everyone else. Sir, you're missing home. You should go back, the waiter suggested. Home? Jackie's glossy eyes stared blankly at nothing in particular. I have a bungalow, a big duplex. But a home? I've never seen one. It's late, sir. If you'd like, I can arrange a cab to drop you off, the waiter offered. Jackie squinted at him. Do you have a family, Mr. Vesh Eddie? Visetti? The waiter smiled. Yes, sir. A small one. Just me, my mother, and my sister. Wow. And a girlfriend? Jackie asked. The young man blushed, stealing a glance at the manager, who was now distracted by his phone. In a hushed voice, he admitted, Sadvi. She's in my college. I like her, but I haven't told her yet. It's a one-sided love story. It hasn't even begun. Oh boy, that's tragic. Jackie frowned, feeling his pain. Women are so heartless and ruthless. Why can't they just read our faces or pick up on hints? Stone-hearted, cruel creatures, he muttered. No, sir, she's not like that. She's really sweet. She just doesn't know. And I want to be someone before I tell her I love her. Right now, I'm just a waiter, working to support my studies, keep my home running, and save for my sister's wedding. Once I finish my studies and find a better job, I'll confess my feelings, the waiter explained. You're a student? Jackie asked, and the waiter nodded. You're working hard. That's good, Jackie said, taking a deep breath. That is really good. He patted the young man's shoulder. You know what? Call me tomorrow, after 10. Jackie reached into his wallet and handed him a visiting card. Welcome to D. Dawson as a paid trainee, and once you're done with your studies, you'll have a job at my company. We'll figure out which department suits you best. The waiter's jaw dropped as he stared at the card in disbelief. He rubbed his fingers over it, making sure it was real, then looked up in shock. You're Jackie Dawson? From California? He asked, astonished by the unexpected kindness. Jackie grinned like a child and pointed both index fingers at him. You got me. The waiter beamed in return. Don't worry, you got the job. But. Jackie's expression suddenly changed to that of a disappointed child, his open hands gesturing helplessly. I can't guarantee you'll get the girl, man. I can't promise. He sighed dramatically. Personal experience, you know. Jackie leaned forward and whispered. The waiter blinked in confusion. Sir, are you okay? Jackie tilted his lips to the side, studying the young, innocent man. Thank you for asking. It feels good when someone actually cares enough to ask. His voice softened, the sadness creeping back in. I should be going now, I think. Let me call my friend. He's a taxi driver. He'll drop you home, the waiter said, standing up and pulling out his phone. Jackie stood up slowly, trying to steady himself. Yes, please. That would be very kind of you. 10 minutes later, the waiter helped Jackie into the taxi and instructed his friend to take him home. Jackie was half asleep, slumped against the back seat, while the driver carefully drove him to the address he had given. Upon arrival, the security guards helped Jackie out of the taxi, supporting him as they guided him inside his duplex. They laid him down on the couch. He didn't stir. Lavanya's father happened to witness this scene while taking in the fresh air on his balcony after dinner. He couldn't quite grasp what he had just seen. His brows knitted together in thought as he wondered what had suddenly happened to such a gentle young man. Inside, Lavanya remained unaware of what was unfolding outside. Though her father was curious, he chose not to disturb her, assuming she was exhausted and already asleep. He believed she needed a good night's rest after a long day at work. With that thought, he stepped back inside and closed the balcony door. But in reality, Lavanya was wide awake, sitting on her bed, tears streaming down her face. She wept uncontrollably, replaying the events of the day and reminiscing about all the good moments she had once shared with Jackie. Meanwhile, Jamal was nowhere around to look after Jackie. He had already left for the night. Jackie remained fast asleep, lost in his drunken, senseless dreams.